Hey everybody, BT here from TheONSGaming.com, and I just wanted to let you know that we will probably be changing the format as well as name of the podcast. It'll probably end up like The Owners Gaming Podcast. We'll switch some things up, but I hope you enjoy this podcast. Welcome to the Four Nerds of the Apocalypse podcast by TheONSGaming.com. I'm your host, BT, along with my co-host, John. You're supposed to say something, John.
Oh, hey.
Hold on, I'm drinking.
Yes, that is now your sign. Hold on, I'm drinking. Necro.
Greetings and good evening.
And Tirc.
How's it going, everybody?
Awesome. We are now underway with our test podcast, The Four Nerds of the Apocalypse. Woot. So, of course, we're going to start with Tirc. Bro, talk about yourself as a nerd, as a gamer, things you like, things you don't like, etc., etc., whatever you want to tell us.
Alright, so I was actually thinking about this prior to the podcast. Obviously, it's, we have the start of a new podcast, and in the title of said podcast, we talk about how we're four nerds. And it's funny because, like, when I think about it, it's almost like you have to prove yourself as a nerd. And it's funny because, like, that's obviously something that hasn't really been a thing in the past in terms of, like, nerd dichotomy. Like, before you wanted to hide the fact that you're a nerd, now you need to prove that you're a nerd when you call yourself a nerd.
You gotta flash your N card.
Exactly. So, I mean, there are a couple things where one would probably take my nerd card away from me, such as I've only seen like 3 episodes of Doctor Who. I've never seen Firefly. There are a bunch of series of games that I've never played that are probably on the shame card. I actually tried to rectify that today by starting Fallout. So I installed Fallout, and I played like 3 minutes of it, and I uninstalled it.
Which one?
I installed Fallout, the first one.
The first one.
And then I installed Fallout 3, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So I definitely want to break into that series. But in terms of stuff that I do and I like, Star Wars, Star Trek. Big fan of both of those. Granted, I'm kind of in the middle of Star Trek. I've watched all of the original series and all of Next Generation, and I've started on Deep Space Nine. Star Wars, obviously I've seen all of them. I really, really like the new one. I hope at some point we just kind of sit down and talk about the newest one.
Still haven't seen it.
Holy crap. Okay, so whenever you see it, I feel like we kind of are obliged to maybe talk about it, but maybe even have like a standalone like 30 minutes where we just talk about that. But I mean, unless there's someone on the show that doesn't like it. But in terms of gaming, I've been gaming since I was about 5 years old. I'm 32 now. And yeah, I mean, there really hasn't been, I'll probably count how many days like in my life I haven't played a video game, or at least since like my college years. There probably hasn't been too many days in my life where I haven't played at least one video game in a day. So whether it be on the computer, obviously I started with Nintendo to Super Nintendo to N64, N64 to PS1, then PS2, PS3. I don't own a new gen system. I'm a PC convert, PC master race. So yeah, I mean, I have a Steam library, 300 plus games. I play League of Legends like it's going out of style, and I'm like 6 years late to the game, so I've been trying to catch up. I think we'll have a conversation about that too, because as you learn about me, I'm a very non-biased person, even with the things that I like. I try not to push biases on people, and I'm a big sports fan too, and I actually really don't like sports fans that are biased. We have a real big problem with that in Baltimore, how no one ever thinks that a foul called on one of our teams is actually a foul. So I'll probably be arguing about biases a lot, especially, I mean, League of Legends is probably the most poignant video game out there. I think that, they're basically like the Yankees.
If you play
it and you like it, you like it. If you don't play it, you don't like it for some reason. So I think there we'll probably have an expounded conversation about that too. But so yeah, I mean, pretty much I'm into almost everything. I read comic books from time to time, movies, music, games, you name it, PC, on the mobile. I play a lot of iPhone games too, so a lot of Kairosoft management sims. A ton of those. Actually, I'm like knee deep in a couple of them right now. So, yeah, I mean that's pretty much me in a nutshell. Obviously, there's a lot to dive in there, but I could talk about that for a long time. But let me pass the ball over to Necro. Necro, what you got, man?
Necro, aka Necro Jax. Compared to everybody else in this group, actually, I'm relatively new to the video gaming world. My first system that I owned myself was the PS2 Slim. And my first series of games was Ratchet and Clank.
Good games.
And that pretty much defined me for the rest of my life. No, as a nerd, if we're looking for, the concrete definitions, I do a lot of different kinds of gaming. I played Magic the Gathering, the card game, for a while. I play a lot of D&D online, not the online video game version, but via a website, so it's like tabletop. I play a lot of Binding of Isaac on Steam.
Way too much. But not as much as John. We'll get to that later.
Like John, Football Manager.
Yes.
Yes. Honestly, unfortunately, my pop nerddom, like movies and TV shows, is a bit limited. I've seen some of the Doctor Who's, I've seen a bit of the Star Treks. I've watched a couple of movies, Harry Potter and the Star Treks and the old Star Wars and the new Star Wars. But I was never terribly invested in them. My thing has always been more the interactive stuff like games and occasionally books. I mostly spend my time just playing those games online. At the moment, I am delving deep into Terraria with everybody in the crew here.
Yes, sir.
Good times.
I'm relearning how to do that because I remember grinding up to 100% in that game, and that took an age and a half. I've also been playing a lot of Talisman Digital Edition. I've been playing Darkest Dungeon. I've actually had to take a break from Darkest Dungeon because I got so invested in that game that I would hear the narrator's voice when I wasn't playing it. Like, you need to get more crests to level up the brothel. And I'm just like, man, I need to take a break. And then I would take a break by immediately looking at mods online. My other guilty nerd pleasure is that I've been playing Cookie Clicker for about a week and a half now. And I have been on and off with this game since its development, honestly.
What platform is that game on?
It's a PC game, and it is literally exactly what it sounds like. You click a cookie, and you buy upgrades to click the cookie more. I'm currently making 3.65 billion cookies a second right now.
I have a couple iOS games or mobile games that you'd probably.
Yeah. Mobile. I only play one mobile game, Brave Frontier. Hey, if you want, add me. And
I used to play that game.
Yeah, most of the time I'm just working on Steam or I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos of playthroughs of games. Because I will admit my PC is not the strongest, so I watch a lot of playthroughs of games to see if I want to try and invest my time in them. Currently, I'm kind of on an XCOM 2 binge with a lot of the channels I've been watching, and part of me is like, man, I'd love to have that game, but then another part of me is like, no, you couldn't get through the first third of XCOM 1 because you sucked at it. I was terrible at that game.
You need to play Xenonauts, which is a older style version of that.
Dude,
it's pretty
I've
cool.
seen Xenonauts.
It's good. You got more people, more strategy. I like it. I like it a lot. I like that. I have XCOM, Enemy Unknown, which is the first one that we're talking about. The second of.
Yeah, I still have yet to play it. I've owned it for like 2 years.
It's a good one. It's good.
Dude, I'm not gonna touch XCOM. Just let me get new skins for my Arbalist and Darkest Dungeon, and I'll be happy. Until they release the DLCs, which both excites and infuriates me. We will get into that another time, though, so I will pass the torch on to John Gwen here.
Hey, hold on. Sorry, I have to backtrack. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention, because there's a game that I played for almost a third of my life. I played Warcraft. I still play it. I haven't played it, actually, since I started playing League, but I'm sure I'll jump back in when Legion comes out. But yeah, I've played World of Warcraft for almost 10 years, so I had to throw that in there.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, John?
It's been a while since you played WoW, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
September maybe?
Yeah, I meant to get the new upgrade, but anyways, I'm John. BT calls me John when it kind of just fucking sticks, so that's what happens.
That's how it happens.
I alternate between being either the most nerdy or at least tied with BT with the most nerdy and the least nerdy of the group. I worked in a movie store for a long time, pretty familiar with directors. My favorite director is Wes Anderson, and my favorite film is The Darjeeling Limited, which was directed by Wes Anderson. First console was Sega Genesis that my dad bought for everybody, and favorite game on that system was World of Illusion with, it had Disney characters. It was like Mario with Disney characters.
Is that the one we played?
Yeah, the one we played to record and never kind of released. But emphasized a lot of teamwork. It was kind of a neat game. I have a lot of systems. I have pretty much everything up from the Nintendo up until the Wii U. I don't really have a PS4 or Xbox One that I don't have them. I have about a storage locker full of anime and comic books that I've read and watched. Pretty exhaustive list. I probably should have, rated them on a scale or something to know what I have and haven't watched. I think everybody here's pretty much has the same idea. Most of us, or at least 3/4 of us, played Final Fantasy VII. That's probably arguably our favorite game. I have a Black Label copy, a non-Black Label copy. I like PC gaming. I have like 210 games, and of course, everyone makes a big deal about the 947 hours I've spent on Football Manager 2015.
You could save people's lives if you didn't play that game.
Or, I'm sorry, let me redact that, 977 hours.
Dude, you could be a doctor right now. You could be a doctor or like a physicist, but no, you're just a football manager.
It's a full run of medical school if you add it up.
I like sports. I mean, it's no understatement to say that I live and breathe sports. My ESPN app goes off all the time between school and work, which I forget to silence kind of on purpose just because I like hearing the tone when something happens. I watch a lot of soccer, kind of got BT into soccer, which was one of my greatest achievements, I think, so far.
Again.
I've seen Firefly. I actually have it on DVD if Tirc wants to borrow it. I think it's even on Netflix.
Yeah, I have Netflix. That's one of those things. Like I know the moment I watch the first one, I'm gonna have to binge watch the entire series in like 2 days. So I just find time to do that.
And
I've been watching Farscape on Netflix. It's absorbed my life.
And like Tirc, I like, I've seen the original generation of Star Trek. I've seen Next Generation. My favorite probably 2 cartoons are Futurama and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles of the 80s. I don't think anybody really dislikes that. Beavis and Butthead and King of the Hill and close 3rd and 4th.
King of the Hill's the best anime.
King of the Hill, the best anime. I've seen Star Wars, obviously all 6 episodes, and I haven't seen the new one yet. I liked the first 3 when I was younger, but now looking back at it with the perspective and knowing really how movies work, they really weren't that good. I think we just all kind of tolerated them as because it was kind of cool, and I mean, let's be honest, most people just like action sequences anyway. But I don't really have a preference for Marvel or DC as far as comics go. I think both put out really good work. It just depends on what you're looking for. But I'm gonna pass the torch to BT here, the kind of creator of everything.
Oh God, he dropped it. It's all on fire. We're doomed.
It's not as bad as the pitching mound. We'll have to talk about that before we leave, I'm sure. I'm BT. Kind of already stated that. They've stated it. I am pretty much the stereotypical nerd. I am a bit frumpy. I'm short. I'm white. I got glasses. I got all sorts of problems. I don't have a pocket protector, though, because I don't wear shirts with pockets. I do wear a hoodie, but I'm forced to wear that. I live in the coolers at my job. But that has nothing to do with being a nerd. No. For me, being a gamer, being a nerd, has been my entire life. I've grown up in the shadow of my brother. I've watched him play video games. I played video games with him. I've maybe beat him in a game somewhere, somehow. I started
Time
with...
Splitters. I'll give you Time Splitters.
Okay. I think everyone here would give me Time Splitters. Even Necro, who's never played me in Time Splitters. That is actually a very good point.
Fuck Bruce in Time Splitters.
Yeah, well, hey, look, okay, I might have more hours in Time Splitters 2 than you have in Football Manager, the series.
You gotta...
So...
It's probably like 1,000 some hours.
It's more... It's... Woo! Raise that number!
You had the Insomniac Award.
Yeah, I had an Insomniac Award for 48 hours continuous playing.
Oh my god, is that an achievement?
Yes.
Well, the way in Time Splitters did it, it recorded your stats of kills, glass panes broken, pots shot, watermelon things destroyed, and stuff like that. It also had time played, longest duration played, non-stop, stuff like that.
So it becomes obvious that I'm the youngest in this group because I don't know what they're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Never played Time Splitters at all.
It was on the PS2. I think,
didn't really
right?
get into
yeah,
it
PS2.
until I got it on the GameCube, but BT tried to like fucking force us
to play it. I had you guys play it because we were like, let's play a game, and it used to be GoldenEye, and they were like, well, hey, we got some other things, try some other things, and so they played me a couple times in this, and I don't mean like, oh, we were all playing together. It was, all right, you three versus me. All right, you guys got this? It's cool. Oh, teams, it's easy. Don't worry, it's not Nightfire. And they could not... I think you guys killed me a couple times, but, we'd go first team to 100, and I'm beating them by clearly, 75, 80 kills. Like, if there was a tournament back then, and I had known about it, I probably would have won. And that would have been the only game I would ever win.
Yeah, because every time we played a fighting game, unless it was Encounters in Space, Bruce.
Encounters in Space or Smash, because I wasn't bad at Smash. I'm not even tolerable in Smash anymore. I suck. But back then, when we all played it in the neighborhood, I was not bad. I wasn't the best. I would say you or our best friend Lamar was the best.
I think Alex was actually the best.
He wasn't bad. Well, he wasn't bad, but I could beat him. Because
our cousin would have beat the shit out of everybody in a fighting game.
Sure he would. Anyways.
Tekken and I might have an opportunity.
Tekken.
I love Tekken.
Tekken was great.
Virtua Fighter 1 was an amazing arcade game.
You guys are nerds beyond me.
Oh, come on, what was that game at Ultra Zone that you and Danny played? It was like some samurai game.
I don't know.
Samurai Showdown?
No, like you got to pick between if you wanted speed or power as your main attribute. And Bruce beat him and he got so mad. It was the funniest thing. It was his birthday party.
I don't remember. We'll have to figure that out somehow and talk about it one day.
For nostalgic cast.
But, yes, for me, as a nerd, like I said, followed my brother. I played Nintendo, Super Nintendo, on up. I own a Nintendo, a Super Nintendo. I own a non-functioning GameCube. No, I have one, thanks to John. I have a functioning GameCube, finally.
Wait, did I give you that, or is it just in your possession?
No, that one you bought, remember, for my birthday? Come on, bro.
And for the reference, Tirc, me, I'm his brother. I don't think it's stated yet on the podcast.
No, I don't think it has been. Tirc, yes, indeed, is my brother. Well, I did say
I'm family when the shit gets tough. I'll never forget when I told your sister that.
Yeah,
she's like, you guys are family. I'm like, oh, okay, so when the shit gets rough, I'm suddenly family.
Yes. But anyway, so GameCube, I have a Wii thanks to John. It's not for mine for keeps. I do have a Wii U. I have a PS1, a PS2, a PS3, a PS4. I have a nice newer computer. I wouldn't say PC Master Race. I'm more of a, I like them all. Give me all of them, please. You want to give me an Atari? I'll take it. I'll play it and talk about it.
Your problem is you don't like the keyboard as a control interface.
I don't, because it was never meant to be a controller. It's for work.
But PCs are what I'm going to do.
WASD, though.
Yeah, WASD.
Yeah, and it used to not be WASD. So when it comes to PC gaming, I go way back. I go way back because in the school that I first went to, Maybe not.
Oregon Trail, baby.
Yeah, Oregon Trail. But even before that,
Nah, man, Amazon Trail.
yeah, that didn't come out till later. Bruh,
Yeah, bro.
is that because it's home?
Step off, young buck. It's all
'cause
about
it's
the
home.
Oregon Trail.
You're horrible. No, so the first computer I ever saw was an Apple II.
I think that's most people.
Yeah, that the school had.
Most people around our age.
Yeah, that the school had, and we played games on friggin' floppies. Oregon Trail was one of them, but it wasn't the only one. There was a D&D game. It was not Ultima's younger brother, Calibeth, which some people may know, but it's literally just black screen and white lines to show you where the walls are and things like that. I remember playing that. That was probably the earliest game. Now, I've also played text-based computer games where all you see is text. That's it. That's all it is, text.
Yeah, tell the listeners about your mud phase.
Oh, my tech.
Oh,
well,
shit.
John will remember this because I actually was voted in the top 3 text mud RPG, I guess, dungeon masters.
Was that the Lord of the Rings or the Dragon Ball Z one?
No, that was just out of the storytelling and getting people to come and enjoy.
For the record, there were 5, so
There was more than that. There was more than that. There was 5 well-known people. I was in the top 3. I was probably
because that one fucker was always number 1 because he gave all the women who played these games all the super skills.
well. I mean, that's a good way to do it, bro.
Yeah, that's a good strategy. I mean, I'm not knocking his game, but let's not pretend that he didn't get a Devourer of Souls was his name.
Probably.
Too bad 95% of those women were actually dudes.
That is true. I actually heard it was 100% because isn't it that there are no women on the internet?
No women on the internet. And
don't know,
no women playing tech-based muds.
There's no women that are nerds. I feel like
Yeah, we're not.
Any-
we're
any-
not touching that first off.
any
Second off, that's not
potential.
true.
Yeah, no, I was about to say. I feel like any potential listener with this would just be like, okay, we're not listening to these guys.
Yeah,
no,
I mean,
we obviously, yeah, I was gonna say we obviously don't think that. I don't think anyone within any intelligence honestly believes that either. But going back to me being as a nerd, I also played Magic the Gathering when Tirc went through a Magic the Gathering phase. I then played it.
3 of them.
I know.
I'm still in the middle of one now.
Yeah, you are with Hex.
Well,
Magic the Gathering is kind of like doing crack, because you think you stop, and then all of a sudden you have a booster pack and a problem.
Well, I mean, people that play card games will understand this. The smell of a new card pack.
Bruh, if you could put that in a candle, I'd be bankrupt.
Exactly. Thank you. Someone gets it. I played Pokemon back when it first was big, and I was a kid when it came out, which is
You're talking
now
about Pokemon TCG, right?
yeah. I mean, there's.
We played the crap out of Pokemon games too.
Oh yeah.
Let's be real.
We still do because we're
Everyone
nerds.
does.
I don't have time for it now. But
I know you don't.
I download fan-made versions of Pokemon games.
have you played Pokemon Insurgents?
Yes. I played a randomized version, caught everything I could, then fucking deleted it because I got bored.
You're crazy.
I've only played a few minutes of it, but
What's it called?
Pokemon Insurgents.
I've heard of
Then-
Pokemon
what was the one-
Ashray and...
What was the one before it? Was it Omega and Alpha?
I don't remember. All I know is I played a lot of Insurgents, and it was pretty great.
Yeah, those fan-made versions are fucking awesome.
Because they do everything that competitive players want to do, which, by the way, competitive Pokemon gets levels of depth that I could not even begin to comprehend.
All right, this is going to broach a subject. We're not actually going to get into it because BT, I feel like it needs to be, again, another 30-minute. This is probably actually a 2-hour.
Assault
It's a soul. You could be another standalone podcast.
Oh, I'm sure it could.
PC game modding and how amazing I think that is.
And how sometimes I hate it.
But that's exactly what Necro is getting into.
What do you hate it for?
I don't know.
How else am I supposed
we
to get
can't-
the robot girl giant breasts?
Exactly. We can't talk about that right now. Guys, settle down.
Yeah, this will.
That's going to be another time. That'll be another time.
I'm just gonna say right now,
and
I'm
that's
all
more of a-
for open opinions, and like I said, I'm non-biased, but
It's
but
more
BT's
of a-
dead wrong about mods being.
Oh no, that's just me being devil's advocate on hating it. Here's short story. Short point is if the game.
You know what it is? He couldn't get them to work, so he hates them.
Yeah, actually, for some of them, that is.
No, you're right.
For some of them, that is.
That can be a turn off at times because some of them
are annoying
to get functioning. You're right.
Part of it is though, if the game can't stand on its own as a good game, I don't feel like it should be praised as being a great game when it's not.
Well,
the developers don't deserve the credit; the modders deserve the credit.
That's true.
Sorry, go ahead.
Games that have flaws like Oblivion, the leveling system, if you've ever played Oblivion, is fucked. It punishes you for leveling the game. Whereas if you install a mod that fixes it so where it's okay to level up, then it really does make the game a bit better. Oblivion's a decent game on its own.
John, you mean like Final Fantasy 9?
What are you talking about?
Or Final Fantasy 8, Jesus Christ. There's too many Final Fantasies.
Well, no, the game didn't punish you.
There will always be more.
It never punished you for leveling up. It punished you for leveling up before you got all the bonus skills. If you
Should we talk about the irony in Final Fantasy?
It's never the final.
They continue to go on, but the damn name is Final Fantasy.
Well, it's fitting because.
Sorry, John, I didn't mean to cut you off. Let's let John go back to his.
Well,
I mean, that's pretty much the point.
Okay.
I mean, but Final Fantasy, it's kind of an oxymoron.
Well, you guys know the story behind that, right?
Yeah.
It was his last take at creating a video game, and if it wasn't successful, he was done. He was going to go back to school to do something else, and Final Fantasy, the first one took off, and bam, there you go.
And now we're up at like 15. And
14 and 15.
And who knows how many side games?
Yep. Okay. I mean, I could talk for hours about me as a nerd and all the stuff I have, all the stuff I've been thankful to be able to get my hands on, stuff that I've been into, and I'm sure we'll get into that. Let's move on to our next topic. Let's talk about Steam and other virtual stores. However you guys want to interpret that, I am totally cool with.
I'm going to grab the ball.
Go for it. Take it.
Again, because I called out PC Master Race. I think Steam's a big reason for that. BT and I growing up, we never had cutting edge computers. We always had kind of like second rate computers. Computers were expensive, and I mean they still are. But I think in terms of general earnings, they used to be a lot more expensive. So like we had a computer, but it was never great. So we weren't able to run like cutting edge games, but we were big into like management games like the SimCity series and all the Sim offshoots.
And like the Roller Coaster Tycoon, which me and Tirc did a retrospective series on.
The old shameless plug.
Shameless plug.
YouTube. Thinking about what PC gaming was before Steam, it was very inclusive. What I think Steam did was it gave PC gamers a community that consoles had been able to establish outside of virtual and online realm. But what Steam did, part of it is trying to optimize across, and that's the biggest problem and what has been, if you want to consider it a problem across PC gaming, but it's also what I think makes PC gaming stand above console gaming, in that there's so much design space within PC gaming because the range of PCs is so great. So if a developer does it right with games like World of Warcraft, how Blizzard has managed to optimize it across poor computers and all the way up to the high-end computers. Because in all honesty, when I got married, I used my portion of my wedding money to buy the computer I've always wanted my entire life. So
priorities right there.
I mean, in all honesty, like that was like the last bastion of like things I needed in my life. And playing Warcraft, like it literally turned it into a brand new game when you step up, your PC. And I think that's one thing that the console market thrives, because all of its games are optimized for a singular machine. And that is what kind of can make PC gaming tough. I think that it's gotten so much better, though, now that everything's online and whatnot. But I'm tangenting a little bit, but getting back to Steam, and because of the nature of PC gaming and having limited space. And now that we're in the digital world, I couldn't tell you the last game that I bought. I'm assuming it was World of Warcraft Cataclysm. I'm pretty sure that was the last PC box game I bought. I have
Actually, never enough.
I have 243. And then beautifulness of family sharing. BT has 300 and some games, so my game library technically is 551 strong right now. So now, but let me tell you the other side of Steam. Out of those 551 games, or at least the 243 that I own, how many of those have I played? 70 maybe?
That's the drawback to it. You are spoiled for choice.
Absolutely, the absolute truth. And something that I'm sure we'll get into, the winter and summer sales are just the devil. They're amazing. That's the other thing that I like about PC gaming is you don't have to jump on something right away. I mean, especially if you're really deep into something like I was for a long time with World of Warcraft, like I am right now with League. Like, so many great games have come out, Fallout 4, a bunch of other stuff have come out in the past, year that I have not dipped my toe into. However, I know a year and a half from now, summer sale, winter sale, I'll be able to get the game for $5. I bought Skyrim for $5. I still haven't played Skyrim, but I bought Skyrim for $5. There are a lot of games that, that I think, the digital age has allowed pricing to go down. And I think with the PC, for me, it's a really high intro cost, but the ability for you to game after you have your PC at a low price. I mean, League of Legends, technically, you can play, a lot of, pretty much every MOBA. You can play the games for free. There are so many free-to-play games out there. Granted, not all of them.
You can play them on low-tier laptops, too.
Right.
But I remember playing Dungeon Fighters Online, DFO, back when it was hosted by Nexon, on what was a pretty low-tier computer. And I had a grand old time with it. Spent a lot of time with it, up until it got canceled and shipped out of Korea to something or another.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, but to the broader topic of Steam, I mean, that has allowed people to game for a much more reasonable price. And the other bit, and I'll let somebody else get into it, but the prevalence of indie developers, I think that's been a huge thing for PC gaming and just gaming in general. And, that's obviously bleeding over to the consoles, but I'll stop talking.
Yeah, I mean, Steam is sort of like what iTunes became for musicians. You have the ability to put your song in an area where everybody can see it. You just have to play the lottery and hope that somebody buys it and likes it, and that sort of spreads. I mean, I have one game on my Steam list. It's called Ziggurat. It is a first-person, procedurally generated death labyrinth. And I got this game in its first stages of the alpha available on Steam. And there were maybe like 200-300 people who had the game. Now it's one of the first things you find when you look for roguelike games on the Steam page, and is one of the most highly rated games on that page. Then on the other hand, there's another game I have called Delver, and it's still only maybe like 2,000 people strong. It's not very good, according to everybody who plays it. I think it's decent, but apparently it missed the mark just enough.
That's fair. My views on Steam are obviously, I mean, you heard Tirc, I have a lot of games. Thanks to other things, such as Humble Bundle, and stuff like that, I've been able to get my paws on as many games as I can, so I can review them, I can play them, I can talk about them, that kind of stuff. And a lot of other gamers are like that too. I agree with Tirc. It's the availability of it is huge, but Steam isn't the only one out there. You got several others. I heard GOG, GOG's good. GOG is a bit different.
GOG, by the way, stands for Good Old Games.
Yes, but it's a bit different, as in it's kind of more like you're buying the box, because all of its games are DRM free, or at least were. They should still be, if I'm positive.
Yeah, I guess that's something we should have hit on. I should have hit on to begin with. So, Steam as a platform requires you to be online in order to play your library. There's a lot of controversy around that, and I mean, it's pretty much died down to this point. I mean, people have fully accepted it, but it was something that they had to kind of combat the stigma of when it first started.
Yeah, but as technology goes on, servers have gotten better. As long as you have the game installed on your computer, you can play in offline mode, and if their servers are down, you can still play those games you've already installed. If their servers are down, though, you just can't install any other games. So there obviously is a pro-con kind of thing going on. Like
to
you
that
said,
point, I've never had an issue with like a Steam server being down as long as I've played Steam games.
I don't think I've ever really noticed one myself.
I tend to play single-player games, so I've not really had the issue of online compatibility with Steam. Although, I like how people are using Steam as a medium for multiplayer platforms. Like with Terraria, myself and BT, when he and I play online together, we can connect via Steam rather than having to go through something like Hamachi or another program
or our own routers.
Exactly.
Well, Tirc knows I haven't been able to host for a while.
Oh god, Hamachi was the worst.
Yeah, so the fact that I can join through Steam instead of having to go through these third parties is fantastic. I mean, it's a little iffy sometimes, but that's because it's a relatively new idea for Terraria itself. For other games, it's still pretty great.
Okay, so Steam is obviously the big baddie, but there, again, GOG, there's other ones like, Green Man Gaming?
Green Man Gaming, yeah.
Green Man Gaming, what is that?
Well, Green Man Gaming they have their own platform. I think I have one game on their actual platform. I think it's called Capsule. But the thing that I use Green Man Gaming for is to buy Steam games on sale. So, I mean, and there's a lot of that, like you said, humblebundle.com started off as just like, these indie bundles that you'd get for basically you name your own price, and then they'd have like you have to pay over the average to like unlock a second tier of games, but like you could literally pay $1 for 5 games.
No, actually, Grim Fandango, if you don't own the remaster that it's for $3.10, you can get it right now.
Grim Fandango, by the way, fantastic choice of game if you're interested in something with a lot of story and a decent amount of puzzles.
But yeah, no, so that's what Green Man Gaming is. Again, they have their own kind of standalone, like, good old games. I'm pretty sure like the stuff on there is DRM free, but they're one of those sites that has Steam games on sale. They do a lot of Steam sales. There's
also, of course, Desera. Is that still going on, John? Do you know?
As far as I know, I'm not sure about Desera because of the fact that GOG and Steam have kind of taken over the market. I know that for like really indie games, Desera is still popular because it's just
it's DRM free, and it's it's pretty much a platform for like the really obscure indie games, from what I remember.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought I heard that they were having some problems and that they were actually either closed down or bought. Don't know how accurate that is. John, why are you making so much noise?
Because I had to get up for a second.
Because he has opinions.
I knew it. Of course, then you have, what is it? Origin. Have any of you guys used...
Fuck EA.
Alright, there you go. EA. Well, we have pretty much destroyed any chance of ever getting any sponsors, so...
From EA.
From any probably major place. But that's okay, we don't care about that. We care about what our listeners care about. And
Red Hook, send me a sponsorship. I'll play Darkest Dungeon till my eyes bleed.
And we will record and stream it, and Tirc will Twitch it.
We are no shills for anyone, however.
No, we
You're not.
It's glad to see that John will sell his soul for Darkest Dungeon.
You know where my soul's gone.
Yes, I do.
And souls are cheap.
Exactly.
Diamond doesn't.
Actually, I believe that somewhere, I think it's like in the Netherlands, you can insure your soul for $10,000.
Well, that's good, but I could just go to battle and kill a sea monster and I'll go to Valhalla. So, that's free-ish.
Let me know how that turns out.
Oh, it's gonna go great. I've done a lot of D&D. I think I'll be alright. No? Okay.
D&D can only do so much for you.
Yes. So, to tackle on to the Steam and other virtual stores, let's talk about the proliferation of gaming and just stuff in general thanks to virtual stores like Steam and other places. Go.
I think what Necro had alluded to with iTunes, being the music side of Steam and gaming. I mean, iTunes has also opened up what I think is that we're actually going to move into a new era of movies. I think that we may see pretty soon, and actually it's already started, the idea of movies opening digitally as well as in theaters. I think you're going to see movies that may not have as big of a theater draw.
Do you mean movies in general? Ever since the advent of online streaming, well, YouTube, honestly, people haven't been going to the theaters as much because it's like, why bother when I can, quote, I can A, pirate it, B, wait for it to come out on DVD, or C, wait for it to come out on whatever your choice of streaming service is, Netflix, Hulu, what have you.
True, but I think there's still something to be said for the theater experience. For instance, with a movie like Star Wars, I wouldn't have wanted my first experience seeing The Force Awakens on my couch. That's something I needed to see in a theater. Like, I feel like that
I think that's a little weighted, though, towards the idea of the theater experience for you, because you have a history with Star Wars. Let's say that you and I were a pair of 16-year-olds with some pocket change. Why would we go to a theater to see this movie which we don't have any investment in? We didn't grow up with the trilogies.
I guess my point is more to movies like Star Wars. That's why I think that moving to like digital first day releases, you're going to see it more with like dramas and comedies. I think action movies still play well in theaters. And granted, make the argument that there are plenty of folks out there with theater experiences in their home with projection screens and whatnot. Like, so there's still that. However,
I don't know, man. I mean, when me and Bruce went to go see Skyfall, I mean, granted, he's going to bring up the fact that I fell asleep for the first half the first time I saw it.
He did.
But,
it's horrible.
But the second and third time I watched it is great. Action movies are a great theater experience. I mean, if you're going to go to a movie, you might as well see an action if you don't got a chick with you.
well, and that's, I mean, I guess, and that's
I had a chick with me. His name was Jonathan.
I mean, I guess that's my point. So, like, there are. Like,
Sorry.
Romance movies, comedies, dramas. Those aren't necessarily things that have to play well on the big screen. Whereas I feel like there are still action movies and epic movies like your Harry Potters, like
your Star Wars, Star Trek, like your Lord of the Rings and all of its offshoots, and then whenever they decide to reboot Indiana Jones, which I'm sure they'll do, and your Jurassic Worlds. I mean, that's the thing. Like, so yes, like we're moving into this digital age. However, we have two of the largest grossing movies of all time that have come out in the past calendar year in Jurassic World and Star Wars. Yes, they both have ties to entrenched story and lore and history. So, but I think as long as those sell, all the Marvel movies, all the comic book movies that are incredibly successful right now. So you still have that.
Didn't Deadpool break the weekend box office record? I think
for a comic book movie. I think so.
Didn't Deadpool pull like 183 million or something like that?
It was some ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think you're still going to have movies, but I think you're just going to have like those blockbusters that are hitting films, and then like what we used to think, if a movie went direct to DVD, that's an absolute failure. But I think you're going to see a shift in that, and obviously, God forbid there's anybody listening to this podcast who asks what a DVD is, but your physical disc, that used to be a thing that like you're another.
Watch a DVD. We use hollow drives now.
We can talk about cassette tapes and 8 tracks if we want to.
Oh, but, Jesus.
Yeah, VHS and Betamax.
Right. Show me somebody who knows how to load an 8-track tape anymore.
I mean, I could.
I could.
Although records,
they're coming back.
Your hipster revival of records, but whatever. Anyway, my point is, I think that you're going to see a shift in first day digital releases and digital only.
I think it needs to be said that the hipster ideology of nerddom only can exist in certain aspects because of digital stores. And I don't just mean Steam. I'm talking about places like Etsy and Kickstarter.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, I mean, think about it. Where would they get their unique goods if they couldn't get them online? You'd have to meet the artist to have them make it for you, or read about them in some obscure magazine.
Or some obscure blog post.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're talking about virtual stores in general. How can we not talk about Amazon? Because Amazon has changed. Amazon changed the world. How you want to cut it?
Amazon the overlord.
And I'd be interested to know what people's projections are on when we're going to see retail stores pretty much be diminished. I think there's always going to be a place for unless
Amazon Express, though.
That's the thing, like, because I guess I was going to say that there will probably always still be room for your Walmarts, your Targets, your Kmarts, your one-stop shop for retail stores. But it wouldn't be surprising to me if Best Buy's gone completely in 5 years, maybe 10 years, or if you just see them completely move to just home entertainment and get rid of everything else that people primarily purchase online now. I mean,
Well,
that's really... Go ahead.
You see it in a lot of stores nowadays too, like FYE. I remember when I was younger, which I know is very difficult to imagine for all you old people. When I was younger, in like middle school and high school, I would walk over around the mall and I would go into the FYE and say, "Can I have a job?" And they would say no, and then I would look at everything inside the store, and it's kind of like watching a water stain on a tile. You see that little brown spot, and you're like, "Oh, that's always been there," and then you look at it again like a couple years later and it's taking up the whole tile and you're thinking, has it always been that big? And I compare this to FYE because it's like, oh, they have this section for, these vague movie referenced toys like bobbleheads and the leg lamp from the Christmas Story movies, Nowadays you go into the store, at least a third to a half of it is dominated by movie paraphernalia. Clocks and blankets and posters and fake bowguns and dolls that squeak and roar at you.
Are
Possibly
FYE
at the same time.
FYE still there?
Yeah, I
FYE
remember
still
when
exists.
Holy
FYE
shit! So,
also Suncoast, they're the same company. But I remember when The Watchmen came out, if you guys remember that film.
Yeah, I had Turks and my father and our sister sat them down to watch that movie. I think we had to turn it off.
I own it on Blu-ray.
I own it on DVD. I actually don't mind the film, but
Still haven't watched it. I read
Very
the
long.
novel though.
Very long.
Yeah, the graphic novel's really good, but when the movie came out, they had a bunch of stuff coming out for it, and Suncoast had Suncoast FYE had so much of it, they were struggling to get rid of it. It was 75% off. You could get Watchmen watches for $250.
Who watches the Watchmen's watches when they're watching the Watchmen?
Fair enough.
Say that 10 times fast, or 1 time fast.
The Watcher.
No, I guess my point was with FYEs, and so they were around when I was in high school, and I never once, or maybe once, have bought something from an FYE or a Suncoast.
It's probably a bad
everything
decision.
is $5 higher than anywhere else. So I'm completely floored as to how they're still in business.
How they're still in business.
Yeah, shocking.
And I've been there
Laziness?
recently. I've been in there recently, within the past couple of months, and it is CDs, movies for an older audience, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and just movie toys and the anime stuff. They have an entire section of the store dedicated to anime, DVDs, figurines, candies, accessories. And, cool, that's kind of neat, but at the same time, it's like, dude, why do you even bother stocking any of this anymore?
That's the only stuff they can sell, probably.
Probably.
Well, no, I mean, why do they bother stocking, CDs and DVDs that they could literally they could have a closed door in the back that says adults only and have the rest of it just be all this anime and movie paraphernalia?
I was going to say that there was a shop in South Korea, where essentially the store is an entire back room, besides this little area in the front where is just LED screens across the wall or throughout a couple little areas, and you essentially walk through the store, clicking everything you want, and then the people in the back put all your stuff into a cart, bring it out to you, and then you buy and leave. So I think stores, especially smaller stores, are going to end up being that before we see them completely go. I don't think we'll ever see them honestly completely go. I'll have to agree with Tirc on that. You'll have the big ones and
Amazon Express, though.
Is that where they have the little?
It is the little button.
Is it?
Do you know how that works?
Is that how you get the little fly dudes, the drones?
Drones. I mean, that's not really something that's.
No, Amazon Express is basically, it's just a button with a logo on it, and when you click it, it restocks whatever it is that you have connected to that. Let's say you normally get a 12-pack of paper towels, right? Mm-hmm. You get the bounty button, you stick it on your fridge or wherever you may keep your paper towels, and when you click it, it will automatically be charged to your Amazon account and whatever you have linked to that, and they will send you the 12-pack of bounty paper towels.
That is the worst idea I've ever heard, and here's why.
Well, no,
anyone that has kids or asshole friends that drink way too much, John Gwynn, are going to hit that button multiple times, if not 100 times.
Hit the button to automatically order shit.
No, you have to imagine that's going to evolve very quickly. Like, instead of just paper towels or just laundry detergent or just pet food, it'll be like, what is your standardized list of stuff that you want from us? What is your standard list of groceries? You click it once and it'll be sent to you. Like, okay, I get eggs, milk, ham, cheese, bread, and orange juice. You click the button, and each of those will be sent to you via Amazon instead of having to go out to the store and do it. And that's awesome on one level, and it's terrifying on another.
Because we're already lazy enough.
Yeah, it's like the Wall-E thing. We're just going to have floating hover chairs.
I mean, I'm cool with that. I guess.
Yeah, because you don't ever want to go out.
I mean, no. Why would I? Look at how much gaming I have.
Look at all the bad things.
All the Steam games you gotta play.
Look at all the bad things that happen outside. You know what happened? You know how that would stop if we stayed inside?
Exactly. Instead of going to a building and working, or going to a building and sitting at a cubicle, why not just stay at home and sit in a cubicle at home? That's what I'm saying.
Because we're not popular yet.
I know. Everybody, you can help us. Shill.
So, we've talked about the stores a lot.
Yes.
I will ask the final question in terms of the virtual stores. Should they advance farther down the path to the point where we never need to leave the house anymore because we can order everything online? Or should we keep it to the idea of digital media, like movies, books, and games being exclusive to that?
I mean,
it
depends.
Rare items.
I feel like they've already broken into the land of common grocery store items and whatnot. I mean, they're already starting to get into that. So whether we should or not, I don't even know if that's a subject you want to broach, because it's going to happen. We're going to get there. I mean, Amazon's going to look to do that. That has to be their business model going forward, is how much shit can we sell on our site? Like, how far down can we get? I mean, actually, I guess to your point, I mean, my wife has ordered groceries online using Peapod, if you guys know what that is. And that's literally, we just order it from, I think Giant is the store around us that uses Peapod. You basically just go on Peapod and you grocery shop online, and they deliver it to you. So it's already happened. It's just a matter of, who's going to be able to do it and get it in the most households possible. I mean, it's definitely going to happen. I mean, whether it's good for our society, no. We're already digital enough, and I fear for my children and like how socially inept they might be based on how things have already. I mean, we have real world examples of it now, and anyone who has siblings BT and I have a sister who's 21, but not too much younger than her. I mean, people just don't know how to act. And this is getting more into just
welcome to the human condition.
Right, way far away from kind of nerddom, but like, yeah. I guess the stigma of nerd in general is that people, we're socially inept, which obviously isn't.
Sociology nerds.
Unfortunately, I think we're going down that path. I think that the future is virtual stores, and really everything will be available in virtual stores. They have you can order alcohol online. They have alcohol delivery. You can literally get anything without leaving your house right now. So it's going there. It's just how efficient is it going to be? I feel like there might be one day where you program your fridge, kind of to what you were talking about, Necro. Like, you program your fridge saying like this quadrant, like this space right here is for my milk. If this space is empty, order me more milk. It's like not even a button. The whole thing's gonna be automated. If my egg space is missing eggs, or if the weight gets down to X ounces, order a new one because I'm almost out of eggs.
So basically, what you're saying, it's gonna be like The Sims, where every time you open your fridge, you pull out food.
Pretty much, short of a fucking replicator,
that's coming too.
We're not gonna see it in our lifetime, but maybe
you never know.
3D printing is getting ridiculously convoluted and advanced.
Yes, you're right.
They're 3D printing organs now. They're trying to.
True. Yeah, no, you're right.
So the
Yes.
idea of 3D printing a ham sandwich is not too far behind.
True. So maybe we will see in our lifetime. So once you're there, there's no going back from that.
True,
Yeah.
but I don't necessarily see this as a negative. Yeah, it means we're not gonna go out walking to shop, but that also means that now we have more time to spend with our families, to educate our children or friends or whatever on things. You have time now to go out and walk,
If we
to
wanna
do
actually-
things. Yes, some people are obviously, like me, we're going to shut ourselves in, we're going to shut ourselves away, and that's kind of why I try to do things like this, because then I'm still at least socially active. Necro and, Tirc and John, you guys both know I work a physical job. When I get done doing that, I don't want to walk, I don't want to run. I want to do nothing but relax.
You don't want to run normally.
What are you acting like I don't have a physical job? You think
I'm just-
standing at the register's easy for 8 hours a day?
But it's
Yes,
not
I've done it.
it's not lifting up 50 pounds for a few hours.
Right, but I stand
and walking
in
and
place,
running.
so my fucking feet hurt, dude.
Yeah, well, you probably have drop juice on your head. Never mind.
Dude, I've dropped bottles of wine and people getting pissed, but not have to lift as much as you guys do, but there are people who can't listen to leave that case of wine in the cart and I have to put it back in the cart. Which is bullshit, but I digress.
All right. Well, I think we've
But-
covered the subjects for today.
Yes. But my point was that people that do physical things like that don't generally want to work out. Not everyone, I'm not going to say that. But as a light general statement, there are a lot of people who do physical work, and when they get off work, they don't want to do that physical work. It's unhealthy, but if they had more time, they don't have to go and drive around town to buy things. Maybe they'd have time to go out on that nature walk with their friend. Maybe they go to the gym. You don't know. I think it would open it up.
True.
But yeah.
You're not wrong.
It'd be nice to have, instead of having to go out and get something, it'd be nice to have it waiting when I got back.
Yeah, exactly.
But then we get into the whole idea of how did they get in my house? Who are you? Why are you still here? Kind of thing.
Well, yeah, there's definitely a breach of privacy for the convenience of things.
But that is broaching another topic entirely. And I believe we're reaching our time limit at the moment.
Maybe we'll talk about it another time. Let's wrap it up a bit. So we're going to talk about what we're going to do in the upcoming month. This podcast is a monthly occurrence. This is, of course, our test podcast. So who wants to start with what they're going to be doing? Anything on the website? Anything gaming? Anything you guys want to talk about?
I think we could do it like we did the order of introductions.
All right, Tirc?
League of Legends. League of Legends. Probably some more League of Legends. No, I'm actually I play a lot of Rocket League as well.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
And
to hear that.
Highlights.
And again, oh, you kidding me? Oh, Rocket League is one of the greatest.
Necro's a hitter.
I'm not a hater. I know that it's easy to delve into that hole and not be able to climb out.
Shit.
Darkest Dungeon.
Another game along the lines of Magic the Gathering. So there's a digital TCG that I play. It's called Hex. It is very similar to Magic, so much so that they were sued by Hasbro and Wizards of the Coast. Happy to say they settled out of court. However, just to give everybody a quick rundown, John and BT have accounts in the game, I believe. I don't know if John ever signed up, but I did send him the beta code, and it's actually out of
did,
beta.
but I just can't remember
Yeah,
playing it.
well, it's open. It's open. It's a live game now. So basically, what it is, it's an MMO TCG. It has roots in traditional TCGs, but with a heavy emphasis and future emphasis on PvE content. They just released their first set of PvE adventures, basically, so questing and character building, and in that character building, deck building within there, and they have restrictions on cards and stuff. As you level up, you unlock the ability to have 3 uncommons instead of 2 uncommons in your deck, and 2 rares instead of 1 rare. But it's pretty amazing, and I'll be talking about it a lot more on upcoming podcasts. But if you haven't gotten into it, give it a try if you're into TCGs at all. It's really good for me, being a husband and a father, not really being able to get out to card stores to play people in, Magic or Pokemon or what have you. This is like the perfect game for me, and I've always been waiting for the opportunity to play a card game with, that can kind of work with my schedule. And again, because there's PvE content and PvP content, I mean, I like drafting and playing online tournaments and stuff in that game as well, but just like having that PvE side, it opens up a lot of fun things in terms of a digital TCG. And anyone who's played like Hearthstone is it's
Blizzard. Free, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Hearthstone is freemium.
It is the Blizzard answer to most games, and I don't say this begrudgingly because I love Blizzard games, but their answer to most games and what they're doing now with that and with Heroes of the Storm is simplifying some of the more intricate details of certain game genres. In Hearthstone, they eliminated the randomness of resources by basically giving you one more resource every turn that you play. So like in Magic, where you have to pull your mana, like Hex, where you pull your resources, your shards. So Hearthstone built that down. Right, so like they simplified things, and if you're looking for a deep TCG like Magic, give Hex a try. It's amazing. So I'll be playing that. I'll be playing Rocket League. I'll be playing League of Legends.
Where can we find more of your opinion? Are you going to be writing anything on the website? Are you going to Twitch anytime soon? We have stated that you've been twitching.
Yeah, man. In terms of writing on the website, like, I'm a brutally honest person, so I'm not going to shy away from that. I tend to not love writing articles. I don't think my best, content I don't even call myself a creator because I'm not really there yet, but in terms of someone who just just to spew his musings about video games, like Twitch is kind of like the ideal thing for me. And particularly I YouTubed light years before YouTube was a thing. I used to record myself on VCR, my Madden and my NBA Live, my NCAA basketball games.
Beating Final Fantasy VII.
Beating Final Fantasy VII. It's I did that stuff well before it was ever a thing. Unfortunately, I'm in a different place in my life right now. I think that's the biggest struggle I have. It's I have so much stuff that I do. Obviously, I love nothing more than spend time with my family, and then kind of once everyone's asleep, kind of when I have my gaming time, and in general, the time that it takes to produce a video, the time that it takes for me personally to write an article. When I have my free time, I really just want to play games. So to your question, BT, Twitch is obviously, for me, I think Twitch is the best thing because I can literally just flick it on. It's just a matter of whether I'm in the mood to interact with an audience. And obviously right now my audience is nil. So it's not a huge ordeal until I actually get people in there. So I definitely want to play around with it a lot. The day after I broadcast for the first time, though, I kind of looked into the companion apps that you want to have running with it. So I kind of want to delve into that a little more before I kind of get back into it. But
okay.
If you want to find me in the future, Twitch is probably going to be the place to be.
Got it. And we're hoping that when we do the Terraria PvP thing in a couple weeks, that you'll Twitch it live.
And we'll also YouTube it, I'm sure.
Oh, well, yeah, I'll probably be doing that. Necro, go ahead and do your thing.
For the next month, I'm going to try and start diving into Darkest Dungeon again, because they say there's DLC coming out, and I want to beat the content they have out at the moment, because it is brutally difficult to beat that game. And I'm also going to be taking a deep look into the mods that are available for the game, because Darkest Dungeon has had a very surprising uprising in its popularity due to people streaming it and its popularity amongst YouTube personalities. As for where people can find me, I will be attempting to write more for the ONSGaming site. You'll find my articles up there under my written name, Exanora, E-X-A-N-O-R-A. And I will be working with BT on his Terraria PvP thing. Generally being disdainful about it, but very excited.
Indeed. You dislike some of that stuff? Cleaning out the underworld
I thought that I disliked
city.
cleaning it out. I did not dislike cleaning it out. I just disliked the fact that I forgot to bring my good drill.
Alrighty, is that all for you?
That is all for me for now. If anybody else wants to find me, they can find me on the ONS site.
Sweet. John, what are you going to be doing next month? Where can they find you?
Well, besides
Bottom of the
school and
bottle.
work,
Yes, I can hear it.
Normally I do stuff with BT. I mean, if he's involved, normally I'm 100% on board. I mean, he's my best friend. He's my brother. But I mean, I got a couple articles I have in mind. Maybe a couple of things on music from a person who's listened from a production standpoint. You know, video game based, of course. But mainly I just try and do what I can when I'm not at school or work.
Yeah, you have been doing a lot of school and work. John Gwynn. Is that all? I guess they can find you either on the YouTuber.
Either or. We should probably get some Bushido Blade up, I think.
Should probably get that Evil Zone post on.
Yeah,
yearly.
It's on my mind, man.
Yeah, well, yeah, like you said, school, work. There's, of course, some of the stuff that we recently did. You, me, Necro. I have like a Worms highlight reel kind of thing.
Worms was pretty fun. I mean, that's...
We'll have to do it again. Or was that...
It's an easy game to kind of just BS to, really.
Yep. All right, so just to close it out here, what I'm going to be doing in the next month, I'm actually going to make a update video on, so I'm not going to drag this on any longer. I have plenty of things planned. I think all three of these guys have seen my board. It is filled with stuff of all kind of sorts of goodies. So, yeah, I'm BT from TheONSGaming.com. So, of course, you can find me there. You can also find me on websites, YouTube channel. I just want to thank you three for being here. I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank John Huser, who is our audio editor. So thank you, John. Hopefully this is good enough quality for you to work on. And we'll see y'all next month.
Ciao.
Hey guys, thanks.
Yeah.